All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Star Technology. In today's episode, we're going to be automating two new recipes. One of them's going to be the plastic PCB, and the other one's going to be the microchip processor, which is the third and I believe final recipe for LV circuits. It's a much better recipe than we were doing before. I think. I don't know. It seems better. But we're going to get a few of those parts set up, and at least the new parts. I think it's going to be transistors and capacitors, and then the assembly of the circuits themselves. So I've got, I think, everything we need right here, or at least most of it. But yeah, we're starting the episode indoors today because it's raining outside, unfortunately. But just a little bit ago, before starting this, I was going to throw a little bit of silicon just to make some silicon ingots, and they produce carbon monoxide as a byproduct, and I needed more space for it, and I didn't want to keep building fluid cells, so I finally built some of these upgrade kits, and they are really nice. They increase the storage capacity of a fluid cell up to 192 buckets or something like that, so you can hold quite a bit in there. It's a 6x multiplier, so it's a pretty big jump, and they're not too expensive to make. So I'll definitely end up making more of those because I have so many fluid cells lying around. So I probably won't need to craft another one of those for the rest of the series, hopefully. But yeah, before we get into the rest of it, really quick, I just wanted to say that I've been streaming GregTech New Horizons, if this kind of content is interesting to you at all. I don't have a super consistent schedule yet, and within the next week too, I'm working like the next 6 days. That's why I'm recording this kind of late. I wanted to get at least something recorded really quick before I jumped into that. But yeah, I've been doing some GTNH. We're still in the early game, but it's been a lot of fun so far. Um, but I'll probably end up trying to do it like maybe Sundays or Monday nights would probably be the best for me, maybe Fridays. But yeah, keep your eyes out for that. But yeah, I guess we will get right into it. So, first things first, I guess this one should be pretty easy. What? It's an assembler. Then it just needs an extruder, a bender, and oh, we're gonna bring that up with tanks. The polyethylene, since we already have it being produced on the bottom floor. I don't know exactly where I want to start building it though. Right here will be a good spot for it. So we'll need an assembler, a bender, an extruder. Oh, and we should probably grab these two. Okay, I don't have any kind of building block either. That's kind of nice to have. I guess we'll use sand. That'll work for at least what I need. Okay. There. Put an assembler down. So then this is what's going to be making these. So it needs just an extruder and a bender feeding into it. That's pretty easy. Oh, probably do need this wrench. Then these will output onto this side. Yeah, or I have to do that one. Okay. So those will auto output into those. And these aren't going to be connected. But then that'll be the input for polyethylene, which this still needs a mold. It needs a thin sheet one, which I have. And then that needs to be set to 10. So then we'll just bring in some polyethylene. I guess we'll need polyethylene ingots and liquid polyethylene, but that should work. Here, I'll go grab everything we need really quick and I'll be right back. Alright, so we got this up and running. I totally forgot too that I needed to run power, so I did that really quick. It's not the prettiest. I might try and clean that up in a minute. But this is working. I didn't have any polyethylene ingots, but I did have, oh, I don't know what I just did. But I did have some sheets, and so I brought those over here. But yeah, we're making capacitors now. So I guess the next thing we'll move on to guess it'll be, see, the transistor. That'll be pretty easy too. That's an assembler with just another bender and a wire mill. So pretty much the exact same thing as this. So we'll set that up. Probably just do it right here. So assembler there. Then we'll just do that same setup, but kind of going back this way. Actually, you know what? I will bring this out one more though. Really quick. Just because I don't want it to be right up against the wall here. But yeah, I'll be back in just a second once I have that placed down. Alright, I got the second one placed down. I'm not going to start running it quite yet. I just don't have all the silicone I need. I guess I could go get it, but we don't exactly need those right this moment anyways. I just wanted, we have a whole bunch of these circuits already, but we're going to need more of them soon. And getting them automated was just the logical starting point, I guess, you know, before moving on to these ones. Yeah, we'll get those at some point, but I was looking at this and I decided to have it face this way. And just, it's a pretty, you know, it only takes up that one block. It's kind of an interesting way I could like stack them next to each other. And I don't know, I was just thinking it might be a compact way. It's at least something to think about for the future. But we'll keep moving along here. And I guess this will be the next step. So it's a chemical reactor into another chemical reactor. So we need an extruder and a bender. Another bender. So, okay, bender. I had an, okay, extruder. Need both of these. Okay, and then that'll actually be everything. So let's see. Okay, maybe we can actually... No. It's gonna be a pretty important component too. We'll put it on this side. We'll kind of give it its own area just because every single recipe we're going to be building up here for all the different chips will use this piece. Okay. Guess we'll put it... No, we'll actually bring it out a little bit just to leave some space for coming in and out of there. Chemical reactor here. So that'll need a bender plus the other chemical reactor. We can feed it fluid on the bottom. So this is also going to be pretty similar to the other one actually, but a couple of extra steps, I guess. Then the chemical reactor there, then a bender. Okay, so set this, oops, set it to 10. Okay. So then that's set to 10. Don't think that needs to be set to anything. Where'd it go? Okay. So then the bender set to 10, and then the extruder will need a mold. So this needs... Okay, hopefully we have room. So I could also... I could bring the cabinet up to the top here. Do it like that. Then this chemical reactor needs a bender and an extruder. Yeah, okay. And then we can feed it again with the fluid on the bottom. Okay, so it's like these, but just a double one pretty much. So we'll set these really quick to output. This is gonna be right up against the wall here. Okay. Will we actually have room for that? I don't think so. Okay, we might end up actually taking out a fence then to make that fit. I don't know, it might look funny. But I don't feel like tearing all this down either and moving it one block to the left. So, plus that's centered with the doorway, and I could put something else here. Just trying to think. Make this shorter. I could move this, I guess, again. We can move all this in. Just put it up here, I guess. Extruder and a bender. So then we have the foil mold for this extruder, but we need to grab the plate one for here. Okay. So, did I set the outputs for these? No. Okay. So, then yeah, inputs, inputs, and then these are all for just intermediates. Then that's the final product output. So we can bring power across here. We're probably gonna need more wire. It's not a probably. Okay, so I'll go get a little bit more wire. And yeah, I'll be back in just a sec. Alright, so I think this should work then. We need copper in there, and then copper in there. But this should start producing. Yeah. And then those will come out the top. Sweet. I was not expecting this thing, by the way, to produce so many of them based off of, you know, the one stack of aluminum and 2 stacks of polyethylene sheets I put in there, but alright, I won't have to run that again for a while, I guess. But I was looking at this design, and I think it might need a little more messing around with, and obviously it'll take more space, but it's pretty easily expandable too for more complicated recipes, so I definitely might try and mess around with this a little bit more, because it's pretty sleek and streamlined, so yeah, that's a good discovery for this episode. But yeah, the next thing I wanted to set up is going to be the circuit assembler itself. which is going to, at least for now, I'm only going to have one main assembler for the entire floor. Just because all the recipes for the different circuits, they use all the same items except for different types of wire. And so I thought we would do our assembler here, which will output, I guess, up. Have it output there so it can do all the different circuits, and then we'll just have another area next to it where we're making wire. So put a drawer there. I guess I just have the one wire mill for now because when I was planning this episode, I didn't actually have this planned that far ahead. I thought of this just a couple minutes ago. But, yeah, we'll have a wire area that all just goes into one cabinet. I only made the one, though, just because I was only planning for this recipe at the time. But yeah, I will add the other ones in, too. That'll be easy to just bring it upwards. Do want to make sure I leave myself space, so I'll bring the power in kind of around the side here. But yeah, it'll be pretty easy just to pull the wire out and swap it as we need. So should be good then. That's set. We just need to route the power over. Okay, we'll do that and that. Now that has power, and so does this. Sweet. So I guess we can go grab a little bit of copper then and start that wire mill off. Oh, I guess it'll need input also. There you go. We get fine copper wire, and so we can just put it in there as we need it. But yeah, that'll be the main. That's pretty much 90% of what's going to be in this room, at least for now, because with that, once I get the other two wire mills down, we'll be able to make the new recipe for all 3 circuits. So that's pretty good. Yeah, and I got the thing for the transistors down. I had that extra macerator just because. But yeah, that was pretty good. That doesn't look great, but it doesn't really look bad either. Yeah, it's nice and open, and the wires, they block this opening a little bit, but not too bad. I guess it would have been smarter, though, to maybe bring the power in here, kind of route it along this wall. But I guess those are modifications I can make also in the future. But yeah, I guess this is kind of what makes these all a better recipe, is since they do just use different types of wire. But yeah, I guess that'll be the end of this one, though. We're 25 minutes in, and I don't really have anything else planned out. We still have a bunch of these fluid cells, but I'll really just need them to consolidate all of this, which most of this will actually, you know, that might be kind of satisfying. I'm going to set that up really quick. I'll be back in just a second. All right, I got them all linked together, so I'm gonna put the upgrade kit into this top one, and I just want to see what it looks like as it all kind of goes into it. Oh, that wasn't as cool as I thought. See, how much do I have? So a full one plus those. So if I do that, then that'll start filling. Cool. And we just got like 6 of those things freed up to use. So we can take all of those now. Start using them for other things. Heck yeah. Oh, and it's not raining anymore, so we can actually stand outside. Cool. Well, I appreciate everybody who watched the video this far in. And I just appreciate everybody who's watching the series in general. You know, I have fun doing it. That's the main reason I make these videos, is just because it's fun for me, and it gives me, you know, I get to feel like I'm doing something other than just gaming, of course. But yeah, once again, if this kind of content interests you, I've been streaming GregTech New Horizons as well, so you know, turn post notifications on or just keep your eye out for that. I would definitely love to have you in there. I love to interact with people in the chat. It makes just the gaming in general a little bit more interesting. And yeah, if you guys have any comments, recommendations on how I can make this video better, or just any, you know, content requests as far as like maybe other games you want to see or just anything like that, let me know down in the comments, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good night. All right, that didn't feel right. Sorry. I always say peace at the end of my videos, not have a good night. So I gotta end it with a peace. Peace out, everyone.